It's a new season of Zenless Zone Zero's Deadly Assault, and we're here to find out if this season can be beaten with level 50 agents. Normally, agents can reach level 60, making rewards feel almost too easy to unlock. So instead, we're upping up the ante with this modified rule set. I'll only use agents capped at level 50, which includes their W engines and the team's Bangbu. That means their core skills are limited to rank D, and their active skills are stuck at a base level of 9. To keep things fair and accessible for everyone watching, I'll use no more than one limited W engine per team. Each encounter will be split into two parts. The encounter itself with me providing commentary on my strategy and the hurdles I faced, then the loadouts I used for each agent. While not a step-by-step guide, my goal is to share my thought process so that you, the proxy, can draw inspiration and craft your own strategies to take down these formidable foes. With these restrictions in mind, let's start with the Typhon Destroyer and see if this season can be beaten with level 50 agents. So the main gimmick of this encounter is that it has a 3 consecutive attack chain that you need to parry with a defensive assist in order for the boss to receive a huge chunk of days buildup. Other than that, it's a pretty straightforward affair. You may have seen in a previous video featuring a nearly identical setup, except with Corin instead of Billy. I've switched to Billy now because I recently unlocked his 6th Mindscape while pulling for Trigger, and I wanted to give him a try. Initially, I made the mistake of playing the composition the same way I did with Corin, which resulted in multiple failed attempts. It wasn't until I noticed that Billy's damage output is much faster than Corin's that things clicked. With this in mind, I shifted my strategy. Instead of focusing on extending the boss's stun duration, I cycled through all my chain attacks to capitalize on the worn out buff. Even with a shorter stun window, Billy could still unleash his full combo effectively. Earlier in the video, I mentioned how I only started using Billy due to recently obtaining his Mindscape Cinema 6. This is because of how much of a damage increase this gives to Billy. Not only that, but the activation requirements are things you would naturally do throughout the course of a fight. To put it simply, if you play better, you get more buffs. Another advantage Billy has over Corin is that his dash attack covers so much ground that I can reposition him behind the Typhon Destroyer with relative ease to take advantage of the Steel Cushion W engine's effect. And lastly, Billy has, well,
I have 2 guns, so double the accuracy.
I also want to talk about how understated the importance of the Bangbu is. Initially, I was using a million since I was using 2 Cunning Hair agents. But I noticed that a million wasn't building enough anomaly. And since those assault procs really help with generating decibels for Billy, I decided to swap out a million for Bang Volver for better anomaly buildup. Which you'll see by the end how it basically salvaged the fight with a random assault proc.
Starlight, shine bright!
Nice one, Bill.
Feel the power of Starlight!
One step further!
Have any tips you could share about this encounter? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to watch till the end to see how I almost failed this run.
I'm in the zone! Victory's mine!
Leave the last one to me!
Time to wrap things up! Catch you in the next life!
Easy target! Perfect!
Before we dive into the gear section, I want to share the different team compositions my colleagues use for this encounter. I hope it will give you ideas for your team setup when you next face off against the Typhon Destroyer.
Do it!
For Nicole, I used an energy regen in her 6th slot as well as a 2-piece swing jazz because of the trick I used where I launched an EX attack when she parried with her defensive assist. Without the energy regen, she'll quickly run out of energy, which means she won't have her EX skill up when I'm swapping around during the encounter stun window. For Billy, his disc drive is basically the loadout I use on Corin. I highly suggest having a set like this ready since it's pretty universal for attackers. Lastly, Caesar was on the Protopunk set, but because of how the encounter plays out, I'm almost certain the buff the set provided didn't coincide with the stun window. Now I could optimize this and let her be on the Astral Voice set and Nicole on a Swing Jazz 4-piece, but I decided against it because I was lazy. Before diving into the next encounter, let's check out the remaining agents I have. Since we're going up against Pompey, the red one, I'm gonna go with Evelyn, Lucy, and Astra to take advantage of Evelyn and Astra's team synergy and Pompey's fire weakness.
Alright, I'll take the mark.
Let's first get this out of the way. No, Evelyn is not on her signature W engine, Heartstring Nocturne. You'd be surprised to know that she's actually on the Steel Cushion W engine. This is important because if you're still having a hard time clearing with level 60 agents, then there's always the card option. You might have noticed that I quick swap into Astra every now and then. This is because Evelyn does her Binding Sunder first form special attack whenever she switches out. But more importantly, it's cause I don't really keep track of the Astral Voice buff duration. I don't like getting too technical and instead just play around my instincts. It's also my way of showing you that you don't need to overcomplicate these encounters to get a successful run. This is supported by a concept called complexity bias, which is basically the idea that overcomplicating things lead to increased difficulty. I'm sorry, I didn't mean for this to turn into a crash course on psychology. But if you're interested in how psychology can affect the way you play, tell me in the comment section below and I might cover more of this topic in my future videos. There really isn't anything that stands out with this encounter. I mean, it's fun but it's also exhausting. Excluding the stun window, Pompey has almost zero downtime when it comes to the frequency of his attacks. That said, you can almost predict what he's going to do next. For example, when he does the initial slam, he would either do a plunging attack that leads to a delayed blast, or he would run to you and do a long chain combo that would end with Pompey doing a riposte stance. With how the mechanics work with acquiring performance points, one issue I had was managing my assist points. It wasn't until I noticed that Evelyn's fake chain attack restores 1 assist point, which made all the difference. It's also important to note that since Lucy is mostly doing the defensive assists, it stands to reason that she gains more decibels compared to Evelyn, which is why I could get away with using her ultimate when the boss isn't stunned yet.
And the winner is me!
Remember during the start of the video, when I summoned Lucy's boars preemptively? You'll see by the end of the video how the damage from the boar trio pushed the score just enough to secure the win. Make sure to watch till the end to see how close I was to failing this run. Have any tips you could share about this encounter? Let me know in the comments below.
Countering. I'll take point. Beat it. You have no means of escape. My song is with you.
You also might have noticed that my Evelyn combo isn't as refined during the stun window. This was a conscious decision because I wanted to use Lucy's chain attack to trigger the swing jazz buff. By the end, I wanted to prevent Pompey from doing his big time wasting attack through a combination of ultimates and the burn anomaly. Luckily, Pompey didn't get the chance to use it, thus netting me the win.
My time to shine.
For reference, here's what my colleagues use on their level 50 runs. Shout out to Gabo Techno 1, Symbolite, and Zenpai. You might be wondering why I chose the 2-piece Inferno Metal set for Evelyn instead of the Branch and Blade set. Typically, I'd opt for the crit damage bonus from the Branch and Blade, but in this case, I wanted to exploit Pompey's fire weakness. Now, if I were facing a boss with a neutral attribute, I'd go for the extra crit damage. For Lucy, I equipped the Swing Jazz set instead of the Astral Voice set. This decision reflects her role on the team. She's more likely to perform chain attacks and mainly handles defensive assists. As a result, she'll have her ultimate available more often, making Swing Jazz a better match for her playstyle. Asriel's set is just whatever. I wish the developers had been more creative with her buff restrictions. A flat 3,500 attack requirement for a rank F core skill is just eh. However, since my Robin is only at level 50, she requires about 4,000 attack to gain the max benefit, which is an unrealistic goal for now. With the Marionette left, let's take a look at my remaining agents. Okay. I'm basically cheating by using Miyabi. So I wanted to even out the playing field by slotting in a level 40 B rank engine instead of her signature W engine. That should even things out, right? Since with her signature W engine, I could reach 28,000 points for this encounter. But don't let me dissuade you from using her signature W engine. This is just my way of showing you that it is clearable with room to improve your agent stats, without needing at maximum a $1,000 team. Well, $837.76 for a limited agent and their signature W engine. That said, I didn't account for the free polychromes you can get by playing the game. Make sure to move close to the middle of the arena once the minute is about to end because that's when she usually does her clone barrage move. It's usually around the 20-second mark. The way I approached this boss was basically familiarizing myself with her movesets. You can tell which move she's going to use because she has this long tail that acts as a billboard that tells you what move she's going to use. As for the team setup, I wanted to give both Bernice and Miyabi Sukaku's enhanced buff, but I was so focused at dodging that my brain just wanted to simplify things by making sure Miyabi had the buff on. Also, it's important to keep in mind that the more clones you destroy, the more ice resistance shred the Marionette suffers. That, coupled with the higher stun multiplier, it is important to save Miyabi's ultimate during the Marionette stun window. That said, treat this bit of information as an afterthought, because by just focusing on destroying the clones, the debuff will stack naturally in time for the stun window. On that note, you might have noticed me casting Bernice's ultimate out of the stun window. I do this because of the way Bernice is built. With how I built her, she rarely has any surplus energy for me to use. Also, this is just my way of giving myself a breather since her ultimate staggers the Marionette. Not to mention at how fast Bernice can trigger the burn anomaly, she can take advantage of the blazing chill buff for more decibels. I could probably optimize these runs and rotations more, but for the average player like myself, who has to invest time in education, a part-time job, volunteer work, a relationship, and loads of other games to play. In the context of these runs, being lazy is the best method. This was definitely the most fun I had this season because I only needed to focus on gameplay instead of rotations. And the end was a nail biter for sure. Make sure to watch till the end to see how I almost failed this run. Have any tips you could share about this encounter? Let me know in the comments below.
Victory, the only option. There's no time to lose. Scatter! You're done! You're done! You're done! Press forward.
As always, here's what my colleagues used on their level 50 runs. Shout out to Gabo Techno 1, Symbolite, and Zenpai for sharing their strategies and their approach with this season's Deadly Assault. For Sukaku, I chose an attack stat for her 4th slot and an energy stat for her 6th slot, to ensure she had enough energy to perform 3 Fly Swatter attacks to activate the enhanced buff on a moment's notice. At the same time, I wanted to boost her attack stats so her buff would provide more benefits to the other agents. The lower crit rate didn't concern me too much since her ultimate skill grants a 15% crit rate boost. As promised, here's Miyabi equipped with a level 40 rank B W engine. It's not terrible since it does provide some penetration ratio. Lastly, I equipped Bernice with a 2-piece astral voice set because I wanted to increase her attack. She only really needs 300 anomaly proficiency, so the extra attack was a priority. This is because every 10 anomaly proficiency increases afterburn damage by 1% up to a maximum of 30%. With another successful run, it looks like HP inflation has not caught up to us yet, and this season's Deadly Assault can still be beaten with level 50 agents. If you enjoyed this video, consider supporting my channel by dropping a like and subscribe for more level 50 runs. I'll see you on the next excursion.